Aye. Oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes. This meeting of the Washington County Board of Commissioners is now in session pursuant to adjournment. The Honorable Vice Chairman Jim Wheeler is presiding. Come to order, remain standing.
Thank you, Sharon. Our first order of business this evening will be the prayer and the pledge. The prayer will be led by Commissioner Huffine and the pledge by Commissioner Fitzgerald.
Let us bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight as we start a new year here in Washington County. We're so thankful for the opportunity to live this place on earth that you've granted us that honor. Lord, please be with us. Help us to remain humble. Help us to understand why are we here to represent the people. Dear Lord, we want to call out a special prayer tonight for one of our very own. Mr. Tucker is a little bit under the weather, dear Lord. As we know you're watching over him, taking care of him, just bring him back home, healthy to us as quickly as possible and comfort him and his family, dear Lord. In your name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, if you would call the roll.
We have present and three absent.
12 present, 3 absent. You would go ahead and mark your attendance.
Oh. All right. Yes. Yes, I believe so.
Very good. We'll now move into public comment. Each individual signed up will be given 3 minutes to address the board regarding agenda items. Comments are limited to items on this meeting's agenda. The first and only person signed up this evening is Sylvan Bruni. If you would, Sylvan, come on up and give us your address when you reach the podium.
So 166 Garland Way in Johnson City. So thank you, Vice Chairman. Since this is the first county commission meeting of the year, please allow me to wish you all, from me personally and from the Washington County Democratic Party, a happy new year and all the best and success for our county this year. So I wanted to provide a public comment tonight concerning item 11A of the agenda, which is the mayor's report. Since no written report was provided, I hope Mayor Grandy will speak to his recent signature of a letter from local county mayors that endorsed the voucher legislation proposed by Governor Lee, and it's part of the current legislative session that started today. I don't know if the county commissioners were consulted before the mayor signed this letter, but I hope you will ask him why he signed that letter, considering the immense majority of Washington County residents oppose the voucher program. Members of our local school boards have voiced opposition. The Johnson City School Board voted twice to express its disapproval of such legislation. Parents of all political affiliations oppose this. It is not a partisan issue. Republicans and Democrats recognize that a voucher program is wrong for Tennessee and wrong for Washington County, based on the catastrophes that similar programs around the country have created in other states, but also the pilot program that we saw in Tennessee. And those include lower academic performance, massive financial burden on the state, resulting in reduced funding for public schools, and often near bankruptcy for schools and state educational system, and added burden on county and municipal levels, and moving public taxpayers' money out of our public schools and out of our county to others. No parent and no educator wants that for our kids. Nobody wants that for our beloved public schools in Washington County. As a candidate for State House last year, I placed over 8,000 calls in our county. Not a single person expressed support for vouchers, not one. And my opponent in the race, Representative Alexander herself, expressed earlier this month that 3/4 of the voters oppose vouchers. So with such widespread opposition to the vouchers, why is Mayor Grandy endorsing this program? The tying of hurricane relief money to the voucher program is understandably putting a lot of pressure on elected officials, but it's simple to demand clean bills from our legislators. And both Republican and Democratic legislators have actually promoted that option for the special legislative session. So I hope the county commission will question Mayor Grandy on this point and elucidate a path forward to oppose the voucher program and demand hurricane relief for our region as soon as possible, two positions that our Washington County residents massively endorse. Thank you for your time.
And I would just remind the public that if you do need to put down what you're actually going to speak on when you sign up for these public comments. Next item on our agenda will be approval of the agenda. The chair has no recommended changes. Are there any comments or a motion for approval by Commissioner Tomita, second by Commissioner Huffine? Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Agenda is approved. Next are our public hearings. We have no resolutions for public hearing this evening, so we'll move straight into the receipt of the Washington County Regional Planning Commission minutes and the Board of Zoning Appeal minutes. Those you'll find on page 1 of the packet and page 2. All right, now we'll move into special recognitions, and I'll call on Mayor Grandy first to, I think we'll take first the UT extension report to the people. Is there someone here? I don't know if there's anyone here. Okay, come right on up. Sorry.
Good evening. I am Elizabeth Renfro. I am the newly appointed County Director for the UT Extension TSU office here in Washington County. I took the place of Anthony Shelton, who transitioned into the livestock marketing area specialist. And you all received the report to the people. This is our biannual report that we give to you each year or twice a year. But is there any questions about the report? So some things that I want to kind of bring to your attention is, of course, the Hurricane Helene response efforts. So our office was helped distribute and receive a lot of the donations on the agricultural side. They also helped to distribute those out of the Appalachian Fairgrounds. So they received donations from multiple states and also Canada. And then also our ag agent, Adam Watson, helped with a recovery meeting in Embryoville for about 60 attendees. And there was specialists from University of Tennessee, USDA, FSA and RCS, and the Tennessee Department of Ag. And then I also brought something that was on the FCS side. I didn't put it in the packet, but I had some extra copies. But it was the handout that we put in flood buckets that was given out to individuals that requested those at the distribution sites. So this went with the Johnson City Farmers Market flood buckets that went out. And then also I dropped some off at the First Baptist Church in Jonesboro. And then it was also given out at the Appalachian Fairgrounds as well to those individuals and several other places as well. But I did bring some of those extras just in case you all wanted to see it, or if you know anybody that might still need that information about flood cleanup and how to properly clean their homes and things like that. And there's information about the agricultural resources as well that was listed on there. So but that's kind of the things that I wanted to bring to your all's attention. Is there any questions? Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Renfro. And next will be the proclamation and recognition, Mayor Grandy.
Good evening, Ned. Come on up. We have a special opportunity tonight to proclamate one of our very own, Ned Irvin, who is a special person. He's a friend of mine. He's been a very faithful and loyal employee of Washington County and has accomplished more things than I, have time to talk about. Tonight, you may remember that the addition to the back of our formerly beautiful four-sided courthouse on Main Street had a jail built on it back in 1963. And so when it was no longer being used for a jail, it had the thoughtfulness to say, hey, we need a place for archives. And you might remember when a lot of them were stored in the downtown center in Johnson City and there was a flood and a lot of the documents were potentially lost. They had salvaged most of those and found a home for them. And with the money that is under his supervision, that's collected from registering documents, he used that money, not citizens taxpayers' money, from property tax to renovate that space back there. It's nearly 40,000 square feet of space and preserve the documents. Then, of course, when courthouse was renovated back in 15 and 16, he took over the bank building where the administration was, renovated it, and has continued to have a Main Street presence for the archives of Washington County, which are very critical, and to work with the genealogy people. And people come to Jonesboro a lot to research documents and through family history and a number of other things. So just say that Ned, we'll get to it in a minute, and he's got great stories, but he, along with the county attorney and a number of people sitting around this room, were very instrumental in coaxing our friends in Nashville to return Deed Book A, which is a copy of the original deeds of Washington County going back to the first 1775, back to the Cherokee Nation, right? Okay. And they were delivered to the courthouse by Secretary of State Trey Hargett and our governor, Bill Lee, at the beginning of the celebration of 225 years of statehood for Tennessee in horse and buggy. So anyway, that was a real feat. Anyway, all right, so enough of that, but Ned, thank you for all you do. Recognition of Ned Irvin. Whereas, as the birthplace of Tennessee, Washington County records represent some of the most significant records related to Tennessee's early history, and they remain public property to be afforded and protected. And whereas in 2011, Washington County established a records management and county archives department to better preserve, protect, and display its public records, and conducted an extensive nationwide search to identify an archivist who could professionally lead the creation and operation of the new county department. And whereas an archivist is effectively a records keeper who, according to the Society of American Archivists, may come to the archival profession for many reasons, such as telling the story of the community, preserving history, supporting accountability, improving access, or connecting researchers with the documents. And whereas in 2012, Washington County appointed Ned Irvin with unanimous recommendation of the Washington County Public Records Commission, which decided that Irvin was the most qualified by his extensive educational and professional experience. And whereas a Jonesboro native, Irvin's love of history was influenced by his surroundings and his grandmother, who told him stories of her two grandfathers who fought on opposite sides in the Civil War. And whereas working daily with organizational records, deeds, wills, manuscripts, letters, postcards, diaries, photographs, court evidence, and digital records, the Washington County Archivist serves not only to provide transparency and accountability, but also strengthens the collective memory and protects the rights, property, and identity of Washington County citizens through the administration of these records. And whereas after 38 years in the archival field, Irvin retires from the Washington County Department he was charged with creating with a legacy memorialized by approximately 10,182 lineal feet of organized and cataloged records, which is equivalent to the length of 34 football fields, which included nearly 12,000 county documents recovered from other repositories and the infamous Deed Book A, which was returned after a 124-year stay in Nashville. Now be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Washington County, Tennessee, that we do hereby recognize Nate Urban of Jonesboro, Tennessee, for his long-standing service to the preservation and protection of Washington County's rich heritage and commitment to the protection of the records created by the oldest local government conducting business for Tennesseans, Washington County. Congratulations. Mr. Chairman, I present this to the commission for approval.
Is there a motion to adopt the resolution? A motion by Commissioner Huffine, second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution's adopted.
Well, this is a great honor and I appreciate it. I accept it very humbly because I would not be standing here receiving all this praise without the help of a lot of people, you all in this room, and there's no way of naming them all because I would forget somebody, and some are no longer with us. But it's been a long effort, but a very rewarding effort, helped by a lot of people. I used to go attend state archival conferences and meetings, and you had the archives in all these counties in Middle Tennessee and everywhere. And it was always sort of embarrassing for me coming from the state's first county with what are the oldest, you may not realize this, but the oldest public records in the state of Tennessee are Washington County records. They're the records we have in the archives downtown in Jonesboro. And it was always a dream of mine that one day the archives, Washington County would have an archives worthy of its records. And I've been fortunate to be given that opportunity almost 13 years ago now by Mayor Dan Eldridge and the commissioners on the board at that time. And continued to have the support of all the commissioners who've served in this body since over those 13 years. And with Mayor Grandy's strong support in the last years that I've worked here. So it's been a wonderful experience for me. And now, I think we have, it was always my goal to have an archive we could be proud of. I think we can. And we get people, and I'm talking about professional archivists that come from Nashville, from all over the state, from other archives, or counties who want to create archives, who now come to study what we've done here in Jonesboro. And so it's sort of become a role model. So I now no longer have to be ashamed when I go to professional meetings. We have a great archives here in Washington County. I appreciate your all's support of it over the years. Come visit it. And I've had a wonderful staff, wonderful volunteers who allow us to do all that we've done. And it's not often in life you get to start something from scratch. I was able to do that. And I feel very comfortable knowing the resolution you're going to have appear before you here shortly, that I'll be passing my baby on to someone who's worked with me hand in glove for about the last 8 or 9 years in operating the Washington County Archives in the future. So thank you for everything y'all done, and come visit the archives and look at those old records.
Thank you, Ned. Next item on our agenda is approval of the Board of County Commissioner minutes. Find those on page 7 of the packet. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Commissioner Jones. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Edens. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Next are elections, appointments, and confirmation. The first is to consider resolution number 25-01-01, a resolution confirming mayor's appointments to the Budget Committee, found on page 12 of your packet. So a motion to approve, motion by Commissioner Fitzgerald. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Tomita. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, if you'd take us to the voting screen.
Yes, 3 yes.
12 yes and 3 absent, and the resolution passes. Next is consider resolution number 25-01-02, resolution appointing members to the Audit Committee, found on page 14 of your packet. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Commissioner England, second by Commissioner Malone. Any further discussion?
All questions.
Madam Clerk, if you take us to the screen.
Yes,
12 yes, 12 yes,
3 yes.
3 absent. And the resolution passes. Next is resolution number 25-01-03, a resolution appointing Donna Cox Briggs as county archivist and records manager, found on page 16 of your packet. I understand Ms. Briggs is with us. If you want to stand so they can see you. Thank you for being here. So a motion to approve this resolution. Motion by Commissioner Carter, second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? Please take us to the voting screen. Twelve yes, 3 absent, and the resolution passes. I'm glad to see I can actually see that on my screen. I've been trying to look. Finally, the resolution number 25-01-04, resolution appointing an at-large member to the Board of Directors of the Washington County Johnson City Animal Control Center, Inc., found on page 18 of your packet. Is there a motion to approve that resolution? Motion by Commissioner Fitzgerald, second by Commissioner Carter. If you would take us to the voting screen. Twelve yes, 3 absent, and the resolution passes. Move to the next item on our agenda. That's the reports of officials committee, and I believe the mayor has a report this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Really just want to take a minute or two and talk about, as we begin this year of 2025, think back just a minute for some of the things that were accomplished in 2024 by this group right here. You only meet here once a month, but are very active during the other parts of the month and accomplished a lot. So, just a couple of the highlights. We had a very productive sale of the Gray Library. We completed construction of the industrial access road in industrial park, which was begun a year before. We began projects to upgrade courtroom security right here, which included panic buttons at the clerk's stations, ballistic panels to protect people that serve up there, new key and lock system for the entire building, which hadn't been done since it was built, and a new generator interlock that puts power to the gates in the back and to the place where the clerks not clerks, but the security people work out front into that system. You levied a countywide hotel and motel tax and short-term rentals, which has generated over $200,000 to date. Purchased the building in Gray, formerly known as the City Core Building and now known as Washington County Training and Learning Center, or WCTLC. Just about completed a project at the health department for an immunization pod, so that if we have to do mass immunizations in the future, it can be done in a drive-through building. We completed a complete reappraisal of properties in Washington County. We finalized a budget on time that involved a 5-year capital projects plan and proposed water task force projects for the next 5 years. Began and are getting close to completing HVAC project in our 113-year-old historic courthouse that has been long overdue. Completed a Washington County 101.2 in last July with 21 citizens participating, learning about Washington County government and operations. Helped establish a shooting range for the sheriff, and something that has been very important to him so that he can have his folks well trained. And then on September 27th, we had a little disaster down in the southern part of the county, which you would have thought would have put a hold on a lot of operations. But since that time, this group has accepted a $100,000 grant from the state to put simulation equipment into the Boones Creek TCAT for heavy equipment operation. We have leased a portion of the Washington County TLC building in Gray to Northeast State for a culinary training center. We have completed just about the immunization center at the health department and started an HVAC project in that same facility with grant funds, and have construction is underway on EMS Station 5 located in Telford, which is something that's been really important. So just a lot of stuff going on. In addition, under the auspice of the Water Task Force Group, continue to work with the Jonesboro water crew, surpassing 100,000 feet of installed pipe since that crew was put together. Completed 8 additional projects with the city of Johnson City and 5 with the city of Kingsport. Authorized numerous projects with the Chuckey utility system, which is a first, and they're getting ready to start their very first of those projects here shortly, and budgeted multi-year funding through the capital project plan for water projects in Washington County and the unserved area of the county. And finally, talking about growth in Washington County, just a second. There were 972 total building permits issued last year, which is 11% increase from the prior year, which is a huge increase over the year before that. Total property value of those permits, $183,575,000 that gets added to the tax rolls. And permit fees collected of $563,000, which operates not only their department, but planning and zoning. So those people have been active. We last year hired a new inspector, Joel, and that's really proven very important in the last 4 months, because Scott has been able to put his full-time attention working with the people trying to build homes at a supersonic speed down on the Nollachucky River. So and he's virtually there every single day. Going forward into 2025, this group has sort of traditionally gathered to set agendas and project desires by the commission. Hope you'll do that again this year, or at least if you have specific projects of interest that will communicate them and to try to get them going. But among the things that we will be doing this year, the library, former Gray location, will be located into the new TLC building in the Gray, in a much nicer facility and much more convenient, much safer for the patrons. We'll get the culinary program started out there with Northeast State in the fall. We're looking at other opportunities for tenants in that building. Obviously, the Nolichucky recovery is going to take precedent for just about a part of every single day. We'll be looking at the completion early summer of phase 2 of the TCAT facility at Boones Creek on that campus, which will house a number of projects, including heavy equipment operation training. And we'll be asking the governor for phase 3. So stand by. And we'll be looking at the completion of funding and the building of the First Frontier Trail, which will be an interconnection between the trails in Jonesboro, trails in Johnson City, Tweetsie Trail, and on. So those are the things that I kind of have on my radar that are going on. I'm looking forward to hearing what y'all might offer as additional projects or things that you have a specific interest in. Clearly the work down on the river is going to be taking a lot of time. And so speaking of that, for us tonight, a report by James and Carolyn on long-term recovery. James.
Thanks, Mayor. So a couple items we talked about last month, and you guys had asked for some additional analytics on. Right now, we are currently tracking 435 total residents impacted by the storm. Not all of those are along the river, but those do have some sort of impact to residents. To date, we have contacted through our navigators 142 of those residents, and that is through purely volunteer navigators. 30 of those have been checked off with no further needs needed. Since our last discussion, 5 more homes have been completed. 31 are currently under construction, whether that's repairs or complete rebuilds. 9 properties are currently assigned to volunteers to assist with debris removal. And 18 homes are upcoming for construction start, meaning they've got a signed contract, they're in permitting, septic inspection, or material procurement. The long-term recovery group, ourselves, since the last time we talked, has received $48,306 in direct donations from community members or churches. And we've not spent 1 penny of that money yet because we're still relying on volunteer resources totally. On January the 6th, we held an expo at the Lamar Ruritan, trying to make a big push for the day before the last day to sign up for FEMA. That morphed into partnerships with several other organizations as a one-stop shop for survivors to be able to sign up for wherever they were in the process. Those FEMA, TDEC, Building Department, ASP, Habitat, Eastern Aid, Health Department was giving out vaccines. Second Harvest was giving out food boxes. At 2:30 that day before it started, we were saying we hope we have 1 person walk through the door, and we had over 150 walk through the door. So tomorrow night, we will be holding a second expo at South Central Elementary with all of those same agencies there. The last thing I wanted to do when I report to you guys each month is just give you a good news story, kind of tell you, highlight a volunteer that's gone above and beyond. And this month, I want to highlight a company called Landscape Impressions out of Elizabethton. We received a cold call of a guy that said, I'm bored, we're slow, it's wintertime, I can't cut grass, but I can do paver sidewalks. He started in Mountain City in October, made it to us the last week of December, and has completed 10 sidewalks free of charge for residents who are ready for that part of their rebuild process. And he's got 4 more that he's starting next week and has no intention of leaving as long as we can keep him busy with sidewalks. So those are the kind of volunteers we're seeing pop up to help with this. And that's what I have for you guys. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, just first off, thank you for everything you're doing. I really appreciate that. Any update on the FEMA housing? I've had some people ask me that. I think the trailers coming in and so forth, but have we placed any or
I know,
any update on that? I know it's tough to get that.
I know for sure there's 4 placed. There's,
More applications process.
and there was 18, I think, that were approved, but they're en route.
Okay.
Thank you.
So another piece of good news before we get finished with James was you agreed to fund long-term recovery with professional organization, day in and day out, organizing, managing all those committees, volunteers and so forth. Just last week, we got word that we received a grant, and it was applied for through anyway.
East Tennessee Foundation.
Who applied for it? Oh, James left. Anyway, United Way. Leslie, United Way's on this. And I talked to these folks anyways through East Tennessee Foundation. It's over $200,000 that will support their operation from a management perspective for the next year plus. So, then, we're off the hook. This is a phenomenal group of folks, and they recognized when they came and they saw what these folks are doing and their plan, that this was a good way to invest their money, and so it doesn't cost us anything. Just a quick update on kind of where we are with projects. We have FEMA's worked through individual assistance. They don't have a center open now, but their people are still here. And so they're meeting individuals who need help with their application. Maybe they've had a change or whatever. They will meet them wherever they need to be met. They'll meet at long-term recovery group's office. They'll go to an individual's home. They'll meet at McDonald's to get if something on the application needs to be changed. If folks have got a denial letter, these people are here, and that's what they'll do, even though the center is no longer open. One of the things that's really important is that the debris removal that has been taking place by P&J under the TDOT agreement will end on January 31st. So the last pass will be January 31st, collecting debris out of the right of way. So it's important for folks that have debris that they want removed to get it to the right of way so they can get it. Thank you for your willingness to support and bring on a consultant. Went through the vetting process, and these folks are really phenomenal. It's a company called IEM. They are basically a group of people that were former FEMA employees, high level in FEMA employees in a lot of cases. And they speak FEMA. They know what FEMA feels like because they've lived it. These people have rescued Brooke, and the great work that she and her team did initially to compile data. Now they're getting it uploaded in these FEMA portals. Look, FEMA is complicated and it's big, it's bureaucratic, and if you do it the right way, have a pretty good swing at getting repaid. If you don't, and you don't get repaid at all. So they are really working hard. We have approximately $50 million worth of roads and bridges that will need to be repaired and fixed. As interestingly enough, as the debris is left on heavy trucks and the rock has come in on heavy trucks to rebuild our approaches and to rebuild the Little Germany Road, it's paying a toll on our roads. If you've been out there, you probably noticed that. So one of the projects that we put in for FEMA reimbursement was to rebuild roads that have been torn up by these folks. So that's something new, but it's about a total of $50 million. Solid waste and the Lamar relocation, we're getting price estimates in now. That looks like we originally had it about $1.5 million project. It looks like it's going to be closer to $3 million. Everything you do in construction is double. I guess we shouldn't be surprised, but I was shocked. And that's going on. We have 33 projects in with FEMA currently in public assistance. So it's in any number of various roads and so forth and so on. Relocation of highway, relocation of solid waste. We have been approved by FEMA with obligated funds of $6.2 million. So as soon as the folks in Nashville can figure out how to get TEMA working, then we hope to be recouping some of that. The road into Little Germany is anticipated to be complete with at least a binder surface here in the next couple of weeks. So that's really, I guess, we're waiting to hear over the next few days in this special session how the disaster recovery funding will shake out. But what's proposed is $450 million to the region for various projects, which consist of $110 million that will take our cost share from 12.5% to 5%. So if you remember from other discussions, FEMA has a 75-25 match. They pay 75, we have to cover 25. The state came in initially with 12.5% of the 25 that we would be responsible for. Now it's up to 20. If this is approved, the governor also has $100 million in there in flexible loans for businesses, agricultural recovery, unemployment assistance, and some things like that. And that's and $240,000 is what it's going to cost to take us from 12.5 to 5 share.
Did that one more time.
Oh.
That last sentence.
Okay, so 240 million of the 450 is going to be devoted to taking our share of the cost from 12.5 to 5%, or moving from 12.5 to 20. So that's what we'll expect. We're going down. Myself and several other regional mayors are going down and we're meeting with specifically the governor first, and then 5 different commissioners that have some impact on us: TDOT, TDEC, ECD, education, and workforce. So we'll be doing that for the next couple of days, hoping to get them to understand our needs and to get support up here. I will just say that probably all of us have seen where President Trump went to North Carolina last Friday and met with the folks over there. I spoke with a lady today who said, "Why are we being left out?" So Vice President Vance is in Virginia today. President Trump was in North Carolina Friday. Why are we toast? We're not. We're being considered. Governor Lee was with the president last Friday in North Carolina. The president's very conscious of what we're dealing with here, and we anticipate the sport. He's particularly critical of FEMA, and I would, have had those moments myself. It's a huge bureaucratic organization, the federal government. It's complicated, maybe for a reason, but our director of TEMA in Tennessee and Mr. Sheehan and FCO Dragoo of FEMA work together in the same space. They are here every other week. They're very familiar with what we do. We have a call with them, with the local leadership in the impacted area every Friday for at least an hour and covering a number of topics. I think that our experience with FEMA is different than North Carolina's, and I think it's better than North Carolina because of the way it's being handled and managed, and the leadership in our state and our leadership that FEMA has sent. We have good people that are working together, and we're going to get through this. We're going to get reimbursed, but it's not an easy process. It's a huge organization. A lot of the criticism is probably warranted, but I think we're fortunate that we have Pat Sheehan to lead TEMA in Tennessee and to help guide us in the challenges of FEMA. So I've been up here too long, but I just wanted to tell you, I think we're about as good a shape as we can be, and better than a lot of others. So, any questions?
Just actually a request, probably maybe for the next EIA meeting, hotel motel tax to be created, $200,000. We can get an update on what that marketing plan is to utilize those dollars, probably beneficial. I know we discussed that originally in there, and just probably get time for a follow-up.
I think there's some opportunities. That's really y'all's decision. So it would probably be a good time to put a group together to begin to look at that. I know Commissioner Wexler has mentioned that to me several times, and I felt like it was prudent for us to run a few months worth of collections to try to get a feel for kind of where we are. We're averaging about $50,000 a month. And so you may have heard that there's an opportunity to bring additional airline service into the Tri-Cities. That's one of the things we talked about early on. So the commission in Sullivan County has stepped up and committed some of their hotel motel tax dollars there. We have one of the big things we need to focus on in terms of driving money into our community in 2025 is Major League Baseball at Bristol in August. And so, how that begins to get marketed and that sort of thing. That's one of the things we're going to talk to tourism about tomorrow. So it's really, we don't have, we kind of have some thoughts, at least I do have some thoughts, but no plan. So.
Mayor, a couple items, but first, thank you for the report. There's lots of good information there, and I always like we've done it, I guess, a number of years now. I always like the list of accomplishments. And so a couple of suggestions. One, I think we did it last year, maybe more challenging this year, but I might suggest, if possible, we do a little press release just to kind of bullet point or highlight some of the 2024 accomplishments, because I think it's meaningful for us, but I think it's meaningful for our county as well. One of the items you mentioned was Washington County 101.2. I guess I have some fear or concern that there may not be a Washington County 101.3. And obviously, a lot of work goes into that. And so if we're going to do it this year, that's something our communications task force and yourself or your designee might have to spend some time on. So just a couple of suggestions. And then the question, and then I'm done, but I see some of our friends from the library relative to the city building with is it the TCL?
TLC.
TLC.
Tender loving. Training and learning center.
Training and Learning Center, TLC. I'm just curious if we're far along on the renovations yet to have an ETA on when the gray library might be moved. And I know it's some distance out, I'm just curious.
It's pathetically slow, and I really just will take the responsibility for that. In October, we just got moved into something else, and I, really just didn't put the pressure on them hard enough. So we have a contractor. They're getting going. The space has been cleared. The library folks have worked diligently on putting some sort of a furniture package together so that it's going to look really nice. We get that put together. That's done. So we're ready to go. Realistically, it's probably June. Maybe. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next item on the agenda is the county attorney's report.
Thank you. I don't have any issues on which to specifically report tonight, but if you have any questions, I'm always happy to answer them. Thank you.
Next is our Director of Health Department, Director Butterfield.
I just wanted to give 2 updates on projects that Mayor Grandy touched on in all the wonderful things that have happened in 2024. On Friday, we have a ribbon cutting ceremony for our drive-through immunization building. It'll be a 2-lane drive-through building. So in case of any mass vaccinations, we're going to use it for flu season, all that. Not only is our staff protected and safe and covered, but also it'll be very organized and controlled compared to the chaos that I believe ensued during 2020 when we were figuring out those mass vaccination pods. So very excited about that. And then also we are starting our HVAC renovation replacement for the 2nd floor of the health department, which is greatly needed. So I am very excited about that. So thank you for your support. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Next is our Director of Schools, and while he's coming up, Director Boyd, I would point to his written report at page 24 of your packet.
Good evening. As Mr. Chair pointed out, you have my report monthly with some embedded links. Had one link embedded on there was just for your awareness, the board approved budget calendar for this FY26 budget development season. Our goal and requirement by rule is we provide, the board works through and provides a budget to the mayor by May 1st. So in our timeline, that's what we'll be working towards. And with that, there's been some discussion about, I think in the past, there had been some joint conversations and meetings around the school budget. It is the largest budget in the county. And so I think it's certainly a good opportunity for the 2 governing bodies to come together. I worked through Chairman Matherly to identify a possible date, and we would like to invite the commission to a joint meeting at the district office in the conference room that's downstairs in the lower floor on February 20th at 6 p.m. And all those things will be advertised as they need to be. But, please mark the calendar. And then send me, if you have, prior to the meeting, if there's any specific questions, concerns, or ideas, that would be helpful in just preparing. But we hope it's open dialogue. It's a work session together as far as look at the needs, discuss both immediate and long-term goals. And that's what a budget is. It's a plan to meet those goals. So, and then the other thing I wanted to mention, and last but not least, it was mentioned earlier, the General Assembly kicked off a special session today, and they'll get into the meat of it, I believe, tomorrow. One of the topics of concern is the school vouchers, or the Educational Freedom Act, Scholarship Act, proposed by the governor and the leadership at the state level. Our board, as well as I believe every other Board of Education elected by their community to drive the vision and policies of their local schools, came out in opposition to vouchers. That was the same message that was sent last year at this time, prior to when the General Assembly went into session to discuss possibly a voucher bill. Just quickly, and I won't take much of your time, I just want to highlight what was in the board's resolution. The key, pretty much to boil it down and to identify the key point, is there's strong belief that public funds should go to public schools. That's the fundamental argument that our Board of Education in Washington County, as well as many others, believe. And with that comes the accountability and transparency that's required of public schools. And what is proposed does not have that equal accountability for other, for private entities that will receive the money. That's the other factor. Less accountability, and it's still public dollars. And I'll end with, there was a statement recently, it was quoted in the debate and the ongoing discussions, the statement by one of our legislators, not Washington County legislators, that, in this discussion and public dollars going to private funds, that the private schools should be allowed the flexibility and opportunity to use those funds in the way that they see fit to meet their mission and their special needs. It's hard for me to understand if that is portrayed as a need, the ability to have flexibility and to be innovative, then why over the last many years has there been an increased number of requirements, regulations, rules, laws imposed on public schools, minimizing local control? And the idea that the reason it was given is to ensure accountability. But when we're getting into this debate, it seems that's not that important in this discussion around vouchers. So going back to the primary reason our board does not support and came out in opposition was public dollars should go to public schools. So with that, and anything else, are there any questions that I can answer before I step down? Yes, I'm sorry, 6 p.m. And I'll follow up with through Commissioner Matherly with the full commission as a reminder. And then maybe if you want to just reply back to me if you have a specific item that you would like to make sure is on the list for discussion, I'll work to make sure that happens. Thank you all.
Thank you, Director Moore. Next item on our agenda is the Administrator of Elections. Administrator Hayes is here with us this evening.
Good evening, Commissioners. As most of you know, my name is Gary McAllister. I'm Chairman of the Election Commission. And I just want to come here and officially introduce you to our interim director, Ms. Sheila Hayes. I think most of you know Sheila. She's been an employee for over 20-some years, 21 years. So Sheila, would you like to say anything?
No, we're just always here. You know how to reach me. There is a paper on your desk in front of you that has my email and phone number. And again, if you ever need anything from the office, it's here for you. I know several of you have got campaign finances that are getting ready to be due, so you'll be getting a phone call from me. But but I appreciate everything that you all do. I really do.
Thank you. All right, our first committee will be the Audit Committee and Chairman Malone.
Yes, a record of gathering is on page 27. I'm hesitant to refer to them as minutes, as unfortunately we did not have a quorum. We had, I think one of our members was, we had expected to be there, was unexpectedly sick and unable to make it. So we did not have a true formal meeting. Those members present, myself, another member along with the mayor and others, including auditor from the state were present. So we did have a conversation. We did go through the audit. We did discuss the findings. And so the record of that, not minutes, the record of that is on page 27. Behind that, there's a couple items. One, there is a QR code with a link to the full audit. And I would encourage you to look at it. If nothing else, flip to the back. There's lots of statistical data and information that is, I think, meaningful and helpful. But if you flip to the back, you see the audit findings. I think Washington County should be proud, and the mayor and the director of finance should be proud. There were no zero audit findings within the elected officials, including the mayor, general fund, et cetera. So zero audit findings. There were a couple findings on the school side, but I think those are minor items that are easily correctable. The other thing I'll call your attention to on page 28, I always like to take this as an opportunity to remind not only our full commission, but public as well, that our state comptroller offers a fraud, waste, and abuse hotline that is open to both us as elected officials, but also to the public to report any fraud, waste, or abuse. So that's on page 28 of the packet. And for the public, I brought and left a few on the table up front if you have an interest. It is just a means by which you can confidentially report anything about which you might have concern. That's all I had. I'd entertain any questions if there are. Thank you.
That may be the longest report we've ever had for no meeting, our next committee is employee compensation and benefits, and Vice Chairman Carter has the report for that this evening.
Mr. Chairman, you can see our minutes on page 30 of our January 9th meeting. We have one resolution this evening. It's number 25-01-05. It's a resolution approving an actuarial study to determine the financial impact of implementing the TCRS hazardous duty supplemental benefit. And this comes to you as a recommendation from the committee, and I move for its approval.
Motion by Commissioner Carter. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Tomita. Is there any discussion? Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you could take us to the voting screen. Madam Clerk, if you would, announce the vote. And the resolution passes. Next committee report will be Health, Education, and Welfare Committee, Chairman Carter.
Our minutes are on page 35, and amazingly, there's no resolutions from your committee this month. So I'm sure that's going to change in the following months, but our minutes are on page 35. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next is the Investment Committee, and that will be Secretary Malone, I believe, is the ranking official.
Yes, the investment committee did meet, and at the full meeting, our minutes are on page 36. We did take action and do our annual review and approval of the county's investment policy, but there were no changes yet, no action from that.
Next is the Public Safety Committee, Chairman Edens.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. You will find the minutes from our January 9th meeting on page 37, and we are going to make up for a lot of other communities not having resolutions, because we have 8. So buckle your seatbelt. First resolution is number 250106, a resolution approving the expansion of the fire program by adding personnel to the existing departments and amending the fiscal year budget 24-25. This is a recommendation from the committee, and I move for its approval.
A motion by Commissioner Edens, second by Commissioner Fitzgerald.
Call for question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, if you take us to the voting screen. Madam Clerk, if you would, announce the vote.
Yes, 3 yes.
And the resolution passes. Commissioner Edens.
Our next resolution is number 250107. This is a resolution approving and authorizing the acquisition of a section of Lamar Elementary property to construct and establish a fire substation for EMS Station number 8, and approving and authorizing the addition of base space at EMS Station 8 for Emberville Fire Department and amending the fiscal year budget 24-25. This is a recommendation from the committee, and I move for its approval.
Motion by Commissioner Edens, second by Commissioner Huffine.
I would like to add, in addition, with this resolution, that the night after we had this committee meeting, the school board voted to donate this piece of property to us. Not just in good faith as one department of our county to another, but for the betterment of the community at large. That piece of property certainly had established value, but I do want to make a note how much we do appreciate them doing that for EMS and at Station 8.
A motion and second. Any further discussion?
Call for the question.
Question's been called. Madam Clerk, you take us to the voting screen. And if you would, announce the vote.
12 yes, 3 yes.
The resolution passes. Chairman Edens.
Next, we have resolution number 250108. This is a resolution authorizing Washington County, Tennessee's acceptance and execution of the amended highway safety grant contract fiscal year 2024-25 and amending fiscal year budget for 24-25. This is a recommendation from the committee, and I move for its approval.
Motion by Commissioner Edens, second by Commissioner Fitzgerald. Any further discussion?
Call the question.
Question's been called. Please take us to the voting screen. Madam Clerk, if you would, please announce the vote.
12 yes, 3 yes.
And the resolution passes. Chairman Edens.
Next, we have resolution number 250109. This is a resolution approving and authorizing certain capital projects, fund spending up to $150,000 in fiscal year 25 for the sheriff's office. This is to upgrade and replace jail locks. This is a recommendation from the committee, and I move for its approval.
Motion by Commissioner Edens. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please take us to the voting screen. And please announce the vote, Madam Clerk.
12 yes, 3 yes.
The resolution passes. Chairman Edens.
Halfway there. Resolution number 250110. This is a resolution ratifying the acceptance and execution of the Tennessee Corrections Institute TCI grant and amending the fiscal year 2025 budget. This is a recommendation from the committee, and I move for its approval.
Motion by Commissioner Edens. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Huffine. Any further discussion?
Call for the question.
Question's been called. Please take us to the voting screen. And Madam Clerk, please announce the vote.
12 yes, 3 yes.
The resolution passes. Chairman Edens.
Next, we have resolution number 250111. That's a resolution amending the fiscal year budget 24-25 requested by the Sheriff's Office ESIG funds. This comes as a recommendation from the committee, and I move for its approval.
Motion by Commissioner Edens. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Huffine. Any further discussion?
Call for the question.
Question's been called. Please take us to the voting screen. And Madam Clerk, please announce the vote.
12 yes, 3 yes.
And the resolution passes. Chairman Edens.
Next, we have resolution number 250112. This is a resolution amending the fiscal year budget 24-25 requested by the Sheriff's Office for insurance recovery, sheriff's deputies, cruisers. This is a recommendation from the committee, and I move for its approval.
Motion by Chairman Edens. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Fitzgerald. Further discussion? Seeing none, if you take us to the voting screen. Madam Clerk, if you'd announce the vote.
12 yes, 3 absent.
The resolution passes. Chairman Edens.
Last but certainly not least, we have resolution number 250113. This resolution is authorizing the disposition of Washington County Sheriff's Office surplus property on govdeals.com. This is a recommendation from the committee and I move for its approval.
Motion by Commissioner Edens. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Davenport. Any further discussion? Question's been called. Please take us to the voting screen. And Madam Clerk, please announce the vote.
11 yes, 1 no, 3 absent.
And the resolution passes. Mr. Edens?
That is all we have. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Public Works Committee, Chairman Davenport.
Yes, you'll find our minutes of our January 9th meeting on page 95. We have three resolutions to come before you tonight. All of these were approved by the committee and come to you in the form of a motion. First one is 250114, resolution approving and authorizing the purchase of 1.17 acres for the use by the Highway Department to restore county road projects.
Motion by Commissioner Davenport. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Fitzgerald. Any further discussion? Commissioner Huffine.
I fully support this, but I just got a question on $100,000 for 1.17 acres of land sitting on the river. And from what I saw on that, part of it was washed away in the flood. And $85,470 an acre. That's some of the most expensive property, I think, in the county. I'm just trying to understand how did we negotiate that price.
I think it was the state.
Mr. Carter.
The cost to build a road, we're talking,
Yeah.
what was the proposed?
10 million.
2 million?
So here's the thing. As far as appraisals and things like that, we have someone that's landlocked. So we can't have landlocked, right? So we had basically three options. We had one option that we could condemn the property, pay the property owner the fair market value. We think that's around $700,000. Okay, so we could be off a little bit. That's it. The other is to build a culvert, build a bridge, and that comes in at $2.5 million. We went to a property owner and he said, you have to buy this land. This is the land that I have for sale. Nothing else. And I'll have $100,000 and that's what it is. So with the three options that we had, we went with the $100,000. That's our decision-making process. Your question was, how did we come to the price? That's pretty much it.
That makes it palatable considering the three options. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I understand. I think we're being very judicious in spending the county's money there.
The commissioners who were here, I'll let them speak for themselves.
Well,
Commissioner Edens, you see the direct. Go ahead.
It's a simple issue of supply and demand in that situation. And, that is the best of the options presented to us.
Any further discussion? Question's been called. Please take us to the voting screen. Madam Clerk, please announce the vote.
12 yes, 3 absent.
And the resolution passes. Chairman Davenport.
Okay, our next resolution's, resolution 250115, resolution allocating the former Highway Department Block 2 location to solid waste to replace the Lamar Convenience and approval of capital project funding spending up to $1 million.
A motion from Commissioner Davenport. Is there a second? Second, Commissioner Fitzgerald. Any discussion?
Real quick, is there, this is probably for, better for
What?
the mayor, is there a chance any of these funds, any of these expenditures are covered under disaster funding sometime in the future?
They're all project. Correct.
Yes.
Good question, and we are applying.
Okay. Yeah, pretty good shot.
We're,
And it could take.
that's right, that's right, but we're confident.
That's worrying all right.
Yeah, oh, yes, absolutely, yeah, that may be the better way of putting it. Yeah.
I should ask so. 100,000.
It's all this.
All right, anyone else recognized, seeking to be recognized?
100,000 gives my bank account $1 billion gets you.
These things may not be related, but I recall in the mayor's report, his reference to $3 million. Is that related to this resolution or not?
It is, when this was requested, really the estimate was $1 million or so. We now have a price setting that would indicate that's probably not gonna affect it, but we just have look right. So Lewis is working on it now. We'll get that back. It actually works out okay because if this is the high price, we're gonna use it on the FEMA request anyway.
No, I noticed in the I think it's in the resolution or the minutes, one where of the $1 million expense, we would expect 875 from FEMA. Is that correct, or is there a chance we're gonna get that number down to 5%?
Okay, so the FEMA, I don't guess it's gonna change. We were hoping it would as the disaster sort of worked its way through with the 4 months ending at. So the FEMA split is their 75%, our 25%. Of the 25, the state's coverage is 12 now. Now 20.
Now 20, okay.
Well, hopefully after the fall.
So that would bring our part down to 5%, depending on what happens in that.
Yes, sir. And that 5%, we anticipate being covered with volunteer labor, volunteer donations, all the things that Brooke and her team have been tracking since day one.
So unless an estimate comes back significantly lower than 3 million, this is likely a matter that will come back to the commission because $1 million is not going to be adequate.
It doesn't appear that it will be, yes.
All right, I think, yes, thank you.
$1 million is what we discussed.
It is.
That was the information we had.
Any further discussion? Anyone else seeking to be recognized? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take us to the voting screen. Madam Clerk, please announce the vote.
12 yes, 3 absent.
And the resolution passes. Chairman Davenport.
Okay, our last resolution is 250116, resolution adopting the revision to the Washington County road list.
A motion from Commissioner Davenport. Is there a second? Second from Commissioner Edens. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please take us to the voting screen. Madam Clerk, please announce the vote.
12 yes, 3 absent.
And the resolution passes. Chairman Davenport.
That's all I have.
We'll move on to the purchasing Commission, that is Chairman Huffman.
You'll find the minutes from our meeting on page 105. If there's any questions, Tim, to answer those. Thank you very much.
Next item to cover on the agenda is the Washington County Library Board of Trustees minutes, which are found on page 106 of your packet. And next we move on to the Budget Committee, Chairman England, or Vice Chairman England, rather, I'm sorry.
Thank you there, Vice Chairman. You'll find the minutes to our meeting on January 15th and on page 123 in your packet. And Mr. Eden's not out there. You go. We have 9 resolutions.
Nothing wrong with silver.
You'll start.
Nothing wrong with silver man.
Start with resolution number 250117, the resolution amending fiscal year budget 24-25 in reference to zoning office temporary personnel. Find that on page 132 in your packet. This resolution comes to you in the form of a motion from the Budget Committee and I move for its approval.
Motion from Commissioner England. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Tomita. Any further discussion?
Call the question.
Motion's been called. Please take us to the voting screen. Madam Clerk, if you would, please announce vote. Mr. Huffine, I believe, needs to vote too.
12 yes, 3 absent.
And the resolution passes. Vice Chairman England.
Resolution number 250118, resolution approving and authorizing certain capital projects fund spending up to $180,000 in fiscal year 25 for chiller replacement at the Washington County Justice Center. Find that on page 134 in your packet. Comes to you in the form of a motion from the Budget Committee, and I will move for its approval.
Motion by Commissioner England, second by Commissioner Fitzgerald. Any further discussion?
Call the question.
Question's been called. Please take us to the voting screen. And Madam Clerk, if you would, please announce the vote.
12 yes, 3 absent.
And the resolution passes. Vice Chairman England.
Next resolution is resolution number 250119. Find that on page 136 in your packet. It's a resolution approving and authorizing certain capital projects fund spending up to $10,000 in fiscal year 25 for circuit court furniture replacement at the Washington County Justice Center. This resolution comes to you in the form of a motion from the Budget Committee, and I move for its approval.
Motion by Commissioner England, second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion?
Call the question.
Motion's been called. Please take us to the voting screen. Madam Clerk, please announce the vote.
12 yes, 3 absent.
And the resolution passes. Vice Chairman England.
Resolution number 250120, resolution amending fiscal year budget 2024-2025, reference to the Health Department additional HVAC funding. It's on page 138 in your packet. This resolution comes to you in the form of a motion from the Budget Committee, and I will move for its approval.
Motion by Commissioner England. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Carter. Any further discussion?
Call the question.
Commissioner Carter, you've asked to be recognized.
Yes, I'm fine with the second, but my computer went dead. So is that really why you raised your hand? I'm good with the second too. So my computer's dead, so I won't be able to vote.
Try turning it back on.
Well, it's been telling me that it's going dead for about an hour now.
Did it lose the power before?
I squirm a lot.
Mr. Carter, you are a fellow educator. Normally, we would tell a student to charge the Chromebook at home. But I know we don't take these home.
It's gonna come back on.
Yeah, that's gonna be a minute.
Hey, let's do it old school.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you might want to.
All right, the Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Tucker, Johnson,
Yes.
Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Edens,
Yes.
Davenport,
Yes.
Matterly, England,
Yes.
Malone.
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Tomita,
Yes.
Jones. Yes. Wexler, Huffine.
Yes.
Wheeler.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
12 yes, 3 absent.
All right. One. All right. We're gonna move on forward, so, Vice Chairman England.
All right, next resolution is number 250121. Resolution amending fiscal year budget 24-25 in reference to various departments paid up life insurance to qualifying retirees. And that resolution on page 140 in your packet comes to you in the form of a motion from the budget committee, and I would move for its approval.
Motion by Commissioner England, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Huffine. Any further discussion?
Call the question.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Tucker, Johnson,
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Edens,
Yes.
Davenport.
Yes.
Matterly, England,
Yes.
Malone.
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Tomita,
Yes.
Jones. Yes. Wexler, Huffine.
Yes.
Wheeler.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
12 yes, 3 absent.
Vice Chairman England.
Yes, resolution number 250122, it's a resolution amending fiscal year budget 24-25 in reference to various departments' funding for Hurricane Helene related overtime. Resolution is found on page 142 in your packet, comes to you in the form of a motion from the budget committee, and I will move for its approval.
Motion by Commissioner England, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Tomita. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Tucker, Johnson,
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Eden,
Yes.
Davenport.
Yes.
Matterly, England,
Yeah.
Malone.
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Tomita,
Yes.
Jones. Yes. Wexler, Huffine.
Yes.
Wheeler.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
12 yes, 3 absent.
Vice Chairman England.
Resolution 250123, resolution amending fiscal year 25 budget in reference to assessor's office personal property tax returns. Find that resolution on page 145 in your packet. It comes to you in the form of a motion from the budget committee, and I will move for its approval.
Motion by, Commissioner England, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. Any
Call the
further
question.
questions been called? Are we ready to go back to the electronic voting? We're still waiting.
We can try, I'm not sure why it looks like it's built. But it would say, well, that screen is. How would you say that?
If you can hold for 3 more.
All right. We'll, Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Tucker, Johnson,
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Edens.
Yes.
Davenport.
Yes.
Matterly, England,
Yes.
Malone.
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Tomita,
Yes.
Jones. Yes. Wexler, Huffine.
Yes.
Wheeler,
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
12 yes, 3 absent.
All right, 5 more to go. Vice Chairman England.
Resolution 250124, it's resolution amending fiscal year budget 24-25 in reference to archives, vacation payout, and salary adjustments. Find that resolution on page 147 in your packet. It comes to you in the form of a motion. I will move for its approval.
Motion by Commissioner England, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Huffine. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Tucker, Johnson.
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Edens.
Yes.
Davenport.
Yes.
Matterly, England.
Yes.
Malone.
Yes.
Stout.
Yes.
Tomita,
Yes.
Jones. Yes. Wexler, Huffine.
Yes.
Wheeler.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
12 absent, 12 present, 3 absent.
And the resolution passes. Vice Chairman England.
Our last resolution, resolution number 250125, resolution amending fiscal year budget 24-25 in reference to recovery court funding from the Baby Doe Reserve Fund for enrollment of up to 12 new participants in fiscal year 25. Find that resolution on page 150 in your packet. It comes to you in the form of a motion from the Budget Committee, and I will move for its approval.
Motion by Commissioner England, second by Mr. Malone. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Tucker, Johnson,
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Edens.
Yes.
Davenport.
Yes.
Matterly, England.
Yes.
Malone.
Yes.
Stout.
Yes.
Tomita.
Yes.
Jones. Yes. Wexler. Huffine.
Yes.
Wheeler.
Yes.
12 present, 3 absent.
Vice Chairman England.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda are the approval of the notaries. This is resolution number 25-1-26, a resolution approving the election of notaries public for appointment and or reappointment for Washington County, Tennessee, found on page 152 of your packet. Is there a motion in regards to this?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Huffine, second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? Seeing none, if you would please call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Tucker, Johnson,
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Edens.
Yes.
Davenport.
Yes.
Matterly, England.
Yes.
Malone.
Yes.
Stout.
Yes.
Tomita.
Yes.
Jones. Yes. Wexler. Huffine.
Yes.
Wheeler.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
12 present, 3 absent.
And the resolution passes. Next, under new business, we have 2 items. First is resolution number 25-1-27, a resolution approving and ratifying agreements for a professional services agreement between Washington County, Tennessee and Jeffrey M. Cannon, found on page 155 of your packet. Is there a motion with regard to that resolution? Mayor, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jeff Cannon was the head building inspector at the city of Johnson City for a number of years. He is retired and is working with a church in Unicoi who wants to build 10 homes in our Noachukee River Valley. And because the church is going to be using volunteers and working on the weekends, he has offered to inspect that work that's completed during the weekend by these volunteers to be sure that it meets building codes. You know, obviously, we want to get houses built down there, but we want them to be built properly and safe. And he asked to do this, and Scott Chapman worked out an agreement with him to do this, but I don't think we're paying him. I think he's just going to manage the inspections on the weekend for us under this agreement.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Jones and a second by Commissioner Huffine. Any additional discussion or questions? Questions been called. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Tucker, Johnson,
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Edens.
Yes.
Davenport.
Yes.
Matterly, England.
Yes.
Malone.
Yes.
Stout.
Yes.
Tomita.
Yes.
Jones. Yes. Wexler. Huffine.
Yes.
Wheeler.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
12 yes, 3 absent.
The resolution passes. Next item of new business is resolution number 25-1-28, a resolution accepting contribution of funds from the Municipal Development Board of the County of Washington, Tennessee, and approving restriction and commitment of funds to economic development, found at page 167 of your packet. Is there a motion with respect to this resolution?
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Tomita. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Malone. Any further discussion or questions?
All question.
Question has been called. And seeing no one asking to be recognized, we'll call for the roll call.
Tucker, Johnson,
Yes.
Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Edens,
Yes.
Davenport,
Yes.
Matherly, England,
Yes.
Lund,
Yes.
Mount,
Yeah.
Rita,
Yeah.
Jones, Wexler, Huffine,
Yeah.
Wheeler,
Yes.
12 yes, 3 yes.
And the resolution passes. We have one announcement. The cutoff date and time for next month's county commission agenda is February 13th, 2025 at noon. And with that, we stand adjourned.